Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share a quick unboxing and first look at the Microsoft Surface Pro X. Now this is the base configuration, 8 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of storage, $999 US. And then I've got the Pro X signature keyboard with Slim Pen, which is going to run a retail of $269.99. So this is a pretty expensive combination, but I would argue this is the nicest piece of hardware that Microsoft has come out with in many years, arguably since the Surface Book was introduced. And I also think it is a taste of what's to come. Now, I wish, like many of you out there, that this was not driven by an ARM-based Qualcomm SQ1 processor, in spite of everything that Microsoft has said about its performance and how great it is. I still have, some concerns, and that's putting it mildly, about what this is actually going to be capable of. And that's because we aren't dealing with a traditional Intel processor. This is essentially an ARM mobile chip like you'd find in other tablets on the market. And that means that a lot of Windows applications, basically every 64-bit application on the market, isn't going to work with this product. So that gives me some pause. But again, arguably one of the nicest pieces of hardware, and I'll reiterate that right now holding it, because it is just incredibly thin and nearly bezel-less, especially for a Microsoft product. You can see here they're just outlining your volume rocker is right here, microphone, Windows Hello, your webcam, another microphone like all of the new Surface devices, power button, your charging port, and 2 Type-C ports. Just remember, again, no expandable storage, so you have to be completely sure of the configuration you're purchasing. You need to know that it's going to fit your needs. And as I mentioned at the top of this video, bear in mind that you're not going to be able to utilize a lot of Windows-based programs, even though this is a Windows-based machine. So, the promise of all-day battery life, it does have a SIM card slot for LTE connectivity that is gigabit. So that's probably the most interesting thing about this, is that you've got Windows with a gigabit connection. There's the Microsoft proprietary charging port right there. And I'm going to go ahead and power this on. We'll take it through the first boot. And I've already seen this in store. It was officially released yesterday. FedEx just dropped it off. It was a long, long wait. And it's just a really well-made device, like most Surface products, but it's also incredibly overpriced. There are the 2 Type-C ports that I was just mentioning. Get them in focus. And then, of course, the volume rocker right above them. The matte black finish, I'm sure, is going to be a fingerprint magnet, but this is one of the nicest tablets I've seen. But it's also one of the most expensive. And, I mean, it does have the kickstand, if I can open it. I don't have any fingernails, so this might be a little more difficult than I first anticipated. It normally wouldn't be, but there we go. And this is the design we all know, and we all, most of us at least, like a lot. The question is, how will it end up performing with that SQ1 processor? Here is the power brick, which is going to look like every other Surface power brick on the market. After all, it wouldn't be a Surface without one of these, would it? To my knowledge, you can charge this, of course, with traditional Type-C. 65-watt charger is in order. I don't think you'll be able to do it with anything else. I don't think there's anything else in this box. Let's get to the keyboard cover. So let me get this out of here. And again, I'm excited about this because I don't think necessarily this is going to be a tablet ready for prime time, but I absolutely think, as I mentioned at the top of the video, that this is where everything is heading for Microsoft. We saw the introduction of the Neo, and of course the Duo, and this is the first device that we're seeing with, a mobile processor, which means that there's a fairly good chance, even though they have a new OS coming out designed specifically for the Neo and Duo, which is Windows 10X, I wouldn't be shocked if this is our first taste of things to come. So Cortana, of course, is there. I'm going to go ahead and get this open for all of us so we can see what their keyboard and new pen look like.
And if you'd like me to stay quiet. Just select the little microphone icon towards the bottom.
Oh, I'm gonna quiet her right now. What I think is nice is this new pen, because a lot of people seem to think that the pen is a funny shape. It's a carpenter's pencil. I don't know what planet they're living on. I've seen reviews already since all of the official reviews came out yesterday. Of course, I'm nowhere near an official review, but most of those reviews echoed the initial impressions, the preview video that I did, which are that this is a really nice device. Arguably, as I said at the top, the nicest device Microsoft has made in a long, long while. But I don't think this is going to be a laptop for most users on the market. Now, I feel like, much like their 15-inch Surface laptop with AMD internals, this is pitched at you-know-who, Apple consumers, because they're going to look at this, say, it's beautiful. And that will be more, even though I don't think it's beautiful, it's very nice for a Surface product. I wouldn't go as far as beautiful, but I think that's what they believe Apple consumers are going to think. And I'm not saying regular Windows consumers couldn't think the same. And then that will drive the purchase decision. I don't believe that, but I've been wrong. And if I am wrong about this, I stand to be corrected. So there's that new pen, which again is a carpenter's style pen. And I really like the look and feel of this. I've already seen it. This is not the first time. And I also really like what they've done here. Very similar to what Dell has done with their 2-in-1 line. So you can just hide that, and then when you need it, it's there. So I think that's nice. Let's go ahead and actually see if I can get us set up a little bit here and try to frame out that light. And again, it's a really nice device. And if I will concur on one thing that a lot of reviewers have said so far, if this had an Intel 10th Gen Ice Lake processor under the hood, I would probably be all over this. That's what I can tell you. So let me go ahead and log in. I'm going to do this off camera. Most of you know that I don't do any editing, but you never know. I think that's in the works. I mean, it's got to prove to be fruitful. That's the way things work here. I mean, I am doing this out of the goodness of my heart. I don't know how that got so smudged, but I'm wiping it off. Again, I really like the hardware. It's built well. You can tell that immediately. And it's not, everyone's saying it's a brand new design. It's really not a brand new design. It's a Surface without the bezels. They haven't, rediscovered their identity here. I'll wave while I'm on camera in the reflection. It's just a new product in terms of design because we've all seen the Surface Pro design now dragged out as long as it could possibly be dragged out. So it's about time we get something new, and that's what the Pro X is. Now, if I did not have, a Tab S6 right here, which I do, and it is a fantastic tablet, and I went with, intentionally, very intentionally, you'll notice the Poetic Case. I've got an unboxing coming up for that. I happen to like this Poetic Case a lot. I went with the 8 gig model and 256 gigs of storage for a reason. And that was because I had a strong suspicion that we were going to see a product like this. And of course, we did end up seeing it. And to boot, on top of all of that, if you actually want to get a 256 configuration with this, I'll tell you what the price is. I got to check online. It's absurd. It's something only an Apple consumer would pay. So an 8 gig model with 256 gigs of RAM in the Surface Pro X, which is essentially what I have with the Galaxy Tab S6. Yes, it's an older Qualcomm chip, the Snapdragon 855, but $12.99. And God forbid you wanted 16 gigs of RAM, because then you're up to $14.99 just for the base configuration, and you can go up to $17.99 if you've lost your mind. So moving right along, I'm gonna log into this now as well, and let's see what we're working with. Let's see how long it takes. I'm curious because it is a really nice device. I will be comparing this to the Surface Pro and the Galaxy Tab S6. No fear. I do not have an iPad Pro. Surprise, surprise. If you follow my channel, you already knew that. But I think that this is superior to the iPad Pro. The problem is that selling it is going to be incredibly difficult. The reason being that the iPad Pro does well because of its bevy of applications. This is Windows, and this is Windows that can't run everything you would in Windows, aka the Adobe suite. And I'm sure things are going to happen. Let's see if I can go ahead, Windows Hello, capture me. And that should be it. And I do really love Windows Hello, by the way. So that's good. I'll create a pin. I'm not going to share that with all of you either. And so while this does, I think this will do well for business purposes, I don't think that this is going to be an epic piece of hardware that's going to sell out everywhere. I think this is the type of thing that people will see on sale very quickly. And I think this was intentionally released when it was November 5th so that it wouldn't already be on sale for Black Friday like the Surface Pro 7 is going to be. So that's a big deal. Again, I think that this is the nicest thing that Microsoft has put out in a long time, but I don't think it's going to take very long for this to be on sale in a big way. Do I think it will be the flop that Surface RT was? No, I don't, because it is running Windows. Even if it is, unfortunately, a curtailed version that doesn't give you all of the capability that you traditionally would have with a Windows machine. So there you have it. We're finally starting up. And again, I think that most of you out there are going to be better served by something like an iPad Pro, dare I say it, or a Galaxy Tab S6, because it is giving you the flavor of what you don't have from a laptop. It's giving you a mobile OS. You have the comforts of whichever operating system you like to work in. Here, you feel like you have the comfort of Windows, but then you're quickly reminded you don't. Instead, what do you have? You have Windows with a processor that isn't, I mean, they're going to claim it's meant for Windows, but it's just not there. And that's what I think this is. I think this is the product to get us to the next level so that Windows will be ready for prime time on mobile chips by this time next year when the Neo and Duo hit the market. And I don't know that the Neo is going to be based on ARM architecture, but I think Microsoft has kind of decided that if you want all-day battery life, always-on connectivity, you need an ARM processor. And I will not argue that. I wish I still owned ARM stock. I don't. Something I purchased in high school, traded it many times, and most people didn't know what it was. Now everybody knows what ARM is. It's the foundation of all mobile computing. Here, we finally see Microsoft bring it out in a real way. Again, the nicest piece of hardware they've ever made. It's taken a long time to boot, but I have high hopes for this. Not in love with the high gloss finish, but there it is. Nearly all display and the bezels are just as narrow as the HP Spectre X360. More so, I think, than, or about the same as the Lenovo C940, the Yoga that I've been reviewing. It's a very nice tablet, no question about it. I just wish it was running, dare I say, Android. I won't say iOS because they've already got something. But let's just go ahead and do a little browsing and see how this thing performs. And I have a feeling it's going to smoke all other tablets. It's just that it's a Windows machine. And the beauty, for most people, of a Windows machine, oh, it's buttery smooth, is, until I said that, the beauty of a Windows machine is having, access to all of your Windows programs. And then with something like this, we just don't have it. So let's see. I already like the keyboard. It's basically the exact same one that you're getting with, of course, the Surface Pro lineup. We've got some little ditties here for me. Let's take a look. Let's see what audio quality is like. Let's see what video playback is like. I'll also do a 4K test just to see, even though we don't have a 4K res. By the way, the resolution on this screen, I believe, is higher than what we've got with the Surface Pro 7.
That's me. QuickBooks Desktop
Speakers are loud, louder than the Surface Pro 7.
Next level.
I didn't mean to do that. Let's go ahead and skip that ad. I do not need a trial.
And here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share a comparison between the Microsoft Surface
Speakers
Laptop 3
are
on the
loud,
left
not
and
maybe the
Lenovo
best sound stage, but still loud. Let's go to 4K.
Yoga C940 on the right. its competitor. But
looks good, folks. I mean, I
job.
hate to say that it looks better than the Surface Pro 7, but it does look better. Does it perform better? No, because it's not a computer. Now, when they have something like this that is a full-fledged computer or application support is that broad, then I think you'll have the whole market, Microsoft. Then this is your home run. But again, I think this is all a beta test. This is to get us acclimated and set expectations for what's coming out next year, which will inevitably be better, but by how much of a margin, I don't really know. So let's just try a 4K test. I want to see the chops on this display. Let me get brightness all the way up. Do we have dedicated brightness buttons? We should. This is our backlight button. Whoops. It's taking us to support. What I was looking for was, yeah, of course it's there. What am I, crazy? That's much better, isn't it? No more refresh going on. You're not seeing it. I mean, I couldn't see it with my eyes, but I saw it on my preview monitor. Now, let's take a look at some video. 4K is rolling. Ooh, that's nice. This is nice. This I could get used to. Hey, stick with full screen, will you? Get that stupid ad out of here. This is a really nice tablet. Really nice. So Microsoft knew what they were doing here. Solid speakers, great looking display. Would I like an OLED? Of course. Would I like a 4K panel? Of course. But I'll take this. But I'm probably going to wait till this thing's on sale. And if it does get 10 hours of battery life, I could see why this would be a good option for a lot of people, even if it can't run everything that full Windows users are accustomed to running. It's pretty sweet, I have to say. But I already knew this. I mean, I saw it in store, and I was just... This is why Microsoft does things right on occasion. And they have the rep, not just because of their software. They really did put together a very nice tablet here. Let's take a look at another demo. I'm going to jump back. Let's see what LG's sample looks like, the one that's designed for OLED promotion. We all know how much I love OLEDs, so let's take a look. A little bit of lag right there. And now it's fine. This is performing better than the AMD-driven Surface Laptop 3. Try to get myself out of the picture. So much glare on that reflective display. All right, I think that's enough. And then, of course, the pen, which I have not utilized yet, and I will do a full review of this, don't worry, which is charging in there, I believe, because this is, I think, a Bluetooth pen, last I checked. So you can see, welcome to Surface Slim Pen. Let's go ahead and see. So I write with my right hand, even though I'm slightly ambidextrous. I know you can never tell from my unboxings, right? Let's go ahead and pair it. And this is another reason Microsoft is in the game. I mean, they're doing it right. Let's go ahead and use that. Let's try taking a note. Daddy-like. This is pretty nice, I have to say. I mean, I tested it in the store for a minute, and the pen input on this is, it's just great. You go fine. Yeah, no, I mean, I know this is all still a carnation of N-Trig since Microsoft purchased the tech, but yeah, this is really nice. And this is how they'll get people. A little bit of lag there, if you noticed, which shouldn't be happening. All right, so I already did that. Why is it still saying it's waiting to pair? Yes. I gotta say, this is a very tempting machine. I mean, just for content consumption and the fact that you can use this essentially for everything other than intensive work. It's pretty nice. Pretty good. What's going on here? This is taking longer than I expected, though. We got the blinking light. It's flashing already. Let's go. I thought it paired. I mean, we're writing. It's still waiting. I don't understand why. I've held it. I mean, it's flashing. We should be able to move forward. Looks like we've hit a little bit of a snag. It keeps saying waiting to pair. I thought we were paired. Well, it figures. This isn't the Microsoft blue screen of death, but it's something funky because it is white blinking and yet it's still saying it's waiting to pair. So let's just skip this. And yeah, I mean, I happen to like this form factor, but my fiance will be the true tester since she's the artist in the family. I'm more of the gearhead, clearly, at least when it comes to tech. Not other gear necessarily, depends. But I like what I see, and I think most of you will too. I think this is a well-made product. It is, nice on the outside. I just hope that that's not all it amounts to. Again, I like the design a lot. I think Microsoft has come a long way that we have. If this is what everyone's going to keep saying, oh, it's like Surface RT, I can already tell you it's nothing like Surface RT. But on the flip side, what I can tell you is that if you buy this thinking it's going to replace your laptop, you better be prepared to not have expectations of doing anything with software that you obviously can't touch with an ARM processor. That rounds it out. Hope you all enjoyed the unboxing. I know it ran longer than anticipated, but this is a pretty cool new addition to Microsoft's Surface world. Any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. Hit that like button. And as usual, please feel free to subscribe. Later.